What is up, everybody? Welcome to SportsShack. My name is Brandon Natali, along with my good buddy of mine, Dennis Tui. Dennis, how you doing today on this fine Friday before the Father's Day weekend?
I'm having a great time. I'm hanging out, doing my thing,
Yeah.
and recording with my buddy.
Damn straight. I love it.
So, can't have a better morning than that. Or I guess afternoon as of 7 minutes ago.
That's good. That's good.
6 minutes ago. It's afternoon.
Hmm.
All right. So with that, good week for me as I got the opportunity to go to the New York Mets and I saw them win in extra innings. So that was pretty cool.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, that was a great game. I was watching. That was an amazing game. Soto put up I think he was 2-4 that night, if I'm correct.
He was, and one of them was a home run, which you guys know I try not to gamble so much, but I did win money on it. Holla, holla,
There you go. I think I saw
holla. I
that.
won $75 that night. Holla,
You really? Good for you.
holla, yeah, holla. I know everybody's like, that's not that big. It's like I don't bet more than $5 or $10 at a time.
Mm.
So for people that are like, that seems very low. It's like, yeah, I know. I'm not trying to go broke. I just like to have a little side income every now and then. He doesn't go well.
I try not to sports bet as much, especially with my luck. It's not that good.
That makes two of us.
It's so especially I thought I put down a parlay for the game 3 of the NBA Finals. Now I should have done more research because what was game 3? It was in Indiana, first NBA Finals there in almost a quarter century. Uh, you know, so I probably should have put that into consideration because the momentum, especially how the Pacers have been playing. I know we're going to cover the NBA Finals definitely, plenty when that time comes. For the show. But like I said, I thought I had a good parlay down. I had Isaiah Hartenstein for 5+ rebounds. I think he only had 3. He wasn't even playing a lot of games too, which shocked me a little bit. Tyrese, I think, needed 25 plus. I think he had 22. Siakam got more than 15 points, which was good for me. But then I also needed the Oklahoma City Thunder to win. That didn't happen. So that was one failed parlay. And then I also was just been betting on the money lines. And also it just hasn't worked. So it also, like I said, I don't sports bet as much, but, occasionally. So now this is the time where I got to stop. I got to
Right.
put the pause. So,
It's important to be responsible.
yes.
Listeners.
I don't really sports bet. I like to think I don't. But like I said, so yeah, no, like I said, I'm going to definitely put the brakes, delete the app, and then, yeah, just enjoy sports without gambling.
Of course.
But yeah, so it's just but no, either way, good for you though. Jeff McNeil has been racking it up at the plate. You just picked him up in fantasy this morning. I would have
Much to your dismay.
I
Much to the
realized
chagrin of Buddy.
I wish I would have realized he was on free agency in all league, or else I would have picked him up because Jeff McNeil has been raking it at the plate. He's been great. He's been phenomenal, tremendous. He's been great. And overall, the Mets have been just great. It sucks that Senga got down with an injury, a hamstring injury. I know Pete Alonso's began some blame, but also he didn't know. But at the same, it's just an interesting topic because you saw what happened to Senga, right?
He left yesterday's game. I was caught up mostly with the NHL finals, and that game happened during my job. The Mets game did. So I kind of missed it, especially I wound up staying like an hour, 20 minutes later. So I didn't see the play. I got home and basically the ate dinner and like the NHL finals like started right afterwards. So like I didn't really see it, but I heard he did leave the game with a hamstring injury.
Yes, hamstring injury.
Okay,
it might be a bad strain. We're gonna find out more with the MRI today.
Okay.
But what happened was Pete Alonso threw the ball up in the air. Senga had to jump, and then when he landed on the plate, I guess he might have popped something. You can see it on the play. Let me see if I can find it. But you could see Senga's limping pretty hard.
Let me see the play. I'm gonna watch the play right now.
Before you do that, I'm gonna find it first.
Oh, I could have just watched it independently, but that's all right.
Let's see. But either way, Mets have been playing good. One second. But I know you were talking about the Yankees before.
Yeah.
Let's see.
All right. In the meantime, I'll talk about my experience at the game. Great game for the Mets. Great sweep of the Washington Nationals. I understand that they're the Nationals. They're not having the best of seasons, and they're in this rebuild, retooling era of their franchise after winning the 2019 World Series. I get all that. However, these are the teams you got to beat. We just saw the Philadelphia Phillies go through a skid where they're 3-7, losing to a lot of what people would say are winnable games, winnable teams, and even getting swept by the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are one of the worst teams in the National League.
Actually,
You got to win the teams. You got to control the controllables and beat the teams in front of you. And I was able to have a good time with my buddies in an extra innings game, eat some Shake Shack,
I love Shake Shack.
drink an adult beverage, and hang out with the boys. 5 rows off the field. Can't beat that. Right next to the apple.
I do have video if you want. If you're ready to see it.
I am ready to see it.
All right.
And Abrams one on the ground. Wide of first. Alonso. Accurate throw. A little high, but Senga's got it. And now he's hurt. He hit the.
That's a bad throw.
Yeah.
That's a horrible throw. Ugh. What do you think?
Yeah, it definitely looks rough. I know a lot of people blaming Pete Alonso for that. A lot of reasons. I don't think he knew. I gotta listen to the post game again. I don't know if he knew that he was having issues. Then again, stuff happens. What are you gonna do?
Let me ask you something. Obviously, yeah, just random stuff happens. You watch the Mets more than I do. Now, I know you work nights, but I'm sure you watch the highlights. You're more in tune to the Mets than I am.
I do find a way to watch them, yes.
The Pete Alonso defense stuff. Is this New York media being too hard, or is it really something to be concerned about? From the games I watched, especially that Boston series, like that Yankee into Boston series, quite frankly, it was pathetic. Now, I know people are like, all right, whatever, Yankee boy, your team lost the World Series because of defense, and I would have no defense. But that was a very I like Gary, Keith, and Ron. The broadcast booth was underselling how that was not an easy play for Senga to make. That was like a platinum glove caliber play to make. Catch on the run, toe tap. He's Kodai Senga, not Larry freaking Fitzgerald. So I'm just curious here. Is this something with Pete Alonso? Because honestly, if that throw wasn't crappy, Kodai Senga would have kept pitching. That's a tough play, man.
I think it was accidental. I think he's definitely had some good defense, and
yeah, obviously he didn't try to hurt him.
No, I know.
He didn't try to throw it badly, but you get what I'm saying.
I do. I think he's played some good defense. He could have played better. No, when I've watched the games, I think he's played good defense. You know, nobody's perfect, but was that a bad play? 100%. No, you know, nobody could deny that. You know, but definitely that play could have been better from Pete Alonso's standpoint. And yeah, it just, you know, definitely sucks. Senga going on the IL. You know, like I said, I think he's played good defense in the past. Obviously, he didn't show it there. But what are you going to do? You just got to go forward and you got to move on. But yeah, no, that's what I think of that.
Yeah. It's something that stands out to me because it's, you know, Listen, if it's Lindor who makes that throw, we're not talking about it in this way, but it's not. Like the Alonso defense stuff, it seems to me like it's a real thing. And I think people keep saying, like, oh, it'll get better, it'll get better, it'll get better. And now someone's like hurt because of it. It's like, I kind of feel like maybe they should be making a bigger deal of it. Do you consider DHing him? Now, I know people would say that could shatter his confidence. This is Pete Alonso. It's not like, a fragile rookie here. It's Pete Alonso. I'm sure he wouldn't want it to hurt his free agency in case he opts out. However, like, he does also have to shore this up at some point.
It's true.
I mean, it seems like... All right, so let me ask you this. Ground ball or line drive or anything like that goes to Pete Alonso right now. What are you thinking?
I think he can make a good dive and stop. He can leap out. He can make a good dive and play.
Interesting.
Yes, I see him leaping out.
Ball is hit to Juan Soto. What are you thinking?
His outfielding has been better. When I've watched Juan Soto play this year, a lot of questions came into the season was his outfield and play. I've seen, so far I've maybe seen one bad play. Bad play was ridiculous, but overall I think he's been decent. I think it was yesterday, it was a couple days ago, where the ball hit like the fence and like he didn't know where it was, so he actually was like ducking, thinking that the ball was going to hit him in the head. That's why I think of Juan Soto.
Okay. All right. All right.
Yes.
Interesting. Now, let me ask you again, because you would know better than I would. Do you guys have another first base option for Pete Alonso? Let's say they want to DH him. I was surprised, by the way, to see Starlin Martes or DH. Had a couple of opinions about that.
Say it again.
I saw you guys were DHing Starlin Marte at the game I went to. That was the 5-4 game.
Yes.
I had some opinions about that. He's having like an objectively like mediocre season. To below average. Like, do you guys have anybody else?
And we can play first base?
Like, would you start Brad Beatty? Hasn't he been pretty good lately? No, I'm saying, well, like, your DH situation is just odd to me in general. So if you guys had somebody else to play first base and put Pete Alonso in the DH spot.
No, honestly, I don't really think that's it. I think that's all they got is Pete Alonso, and that's it.
Okay.
Pete Alonso or bust, unless they want to trade for a backup first baseman, or unless they got someone in the minors.
Yeah, I don't even know who he would take. Did you try? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Are they just waiting for Jesse Winker to come back to make him the full-time DH?
Probably.
Okay.
What are you gonna do in the meantime?
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
It's Pete Alonso or bust.
I mean, they're the number one team in the league, so it's not like I got to overthink it too much. I'm getting a little New York media-y about it, but I think you get the point I'm trying to make. Is like,
I do.
It's a few things did stand out to me when I got to have the time dedicated. I was in center field too, dead center. Like where we usually sit by the apple.
Yeah,
I was on the other side of the batter's eye.
I saw.
I was in the right center spot. Well, section 140 or whatever it is for you Met fans. And yeah. So I was able to watch the full game intently. I had a perfect view of everything. And aside from the blind spots along the wall, that's okay. And, just certain things stood out to me. I was like, huh. Because there's actually my friend from my fantasy league, Jonathan, who I was with, that brought up to me they really have Marte DHing with that average. But it's like, if your team's winning games, you don't want to tinker with it too much. But it is certain things like long term. I'm like, I don't know. But I guess a lot of it is also seeing the Mets my whole life find a way to snatch, defeat from the jaws of victory. Like if there's a way for them to get screwed, there's a way for them to get screwed. And, I don't want it to be like all of a sudden their team is slumping horrifically. Or, God forbid, I never wish this on anybody. All right, Lindor is going to miss 15 games. Alonso is going to miss 15 games. It's like, well, all right, well, then what? So, I don't know. It just stood out to me. Unless their plan is to DH Soto and put Jesse Winker in right. Then your outfield would be Nimmo, Tyrone Taylor, Winker. Or Jeff McNeil, who was, I think, moved over to second base at some point on Tuesday night. Yeah. He played second base and center field after Brett Beatty came in for Tyrone Taylor.
Yes.
All right. Now, let me ask you another thing that stood out to me. Brett Beatty, Ronnie Mauricio. Who do you want playing third for you guys?
Ronnie Mauricio.
All right. So you think the Brett Beatty good month was just like a flash in the pan?
No,
Maybe it wasn't even a good month. It was probably just like a 10-game stretch.
No, a lot of people give Brett Beatty a lot of hate. A lot of, me included, a lot of people giving the slack. A lot of people giving the criticism that he's not consistent enough, which probably shows. It showed last year, and I feel like it might be showing again. But when I've watched him play this year, I feel like that hasn't came up much. So hopefully he's going to be able to stay consistent. I like his fielding. I feel like it's gotten better. I feel like he's had some good games. He's had some multi-hit games. He's contributed, so he's a contributor. In terms of Ronnie Mauricio, I love his potential. I love the power. Like, I remember when he hit his first home run of the season against the Rockies. It's like the bat barely hit the ball. Like, that's how much power he had, and just like his frame, and hopefully he could be a good fielder. So I just like the potential as a player for Ronnie Mauricio. But I'm not giving up on Brett Beatty, and it's clearly show the Mets haven't given up on him. Like, when I've watched him play, he looks like a pro player. It's not like a rookie trying to like get into the game, get into the groove. So I like Brett Beatty. I'm not going to bring him down. I'm not going to give any hate towards him. I think there's potential with him.
All right. Now, I do just want to say I looked at his game log. I didn't realize, again, I don't pay attention to the Mets as much as other sports do, especially with the finals going on in two different sports. That Brett Beatty, the hot streak, I was thinking was already over. I was thinking of when he was playing the Dodgers and the Rockies and whatnot. He was just getting on base at will. I thought that he was still kind of in that mode. And I just caught them on a night where they benched him, just as like a routine thing. I didn't realize that he's kind of back already to his median. I had it flipped in my mind. All right. Interesting. Good game for Peterson, huh? Complete game shutout? That's awesome.
Yeah. Very awesome, and very definitely good to see.
Yeah, because I don't know, long term, we're already starting to see Griffin Canning crack a little bit. A couple mediocre starts in a row here for him. I'm not trying to beat up on the Mets. You guys are having a great season. But again, it's stuff that stood out to me that I wouldn't have seen otherwise. And, actually, I shouldn't say that. I think I'm being a little too harsh on him. But, it's good to know that you have somebody like Peterson who's capable of doing that.
Yeah.
Still no Manaea. When's he coming back?
He's supposed to be coming back within the next month or two. Next week or two.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, what happened there? All right.
It's definitely taking a while. And like I said, even though Sanger went down, it's good to know that they still got Sean, they got Manaea or Montas coming back. I don't know. I know we were talking about it in the chat the other day. I'm not that much of a fan of Montas, but hopefully the Mets see something that I don't. Because they were able to get the best out of Severino. They're getting the best out of Griffin Cannon. They were able to get the best out of Sean Manaea and Jose Quintana. So I'm definitely interested to see how this goes.
All right. I can see all that. It's a pretty reasonable take to have.
But so that like I said, so I'm excited to get them back. And like I said, sucks that Senga gets out, but I'm not upset at the same time because, like I said, they got they have the players that are going to come in that are coming back from injured list. Like how I put Luke Weaver in my IL, and I was able to get more pitching.
Yeah.
So we shall see. But in other news, besides the Mets, tell me about the Yankees. Anything on the Yankees you feel you want to let out?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Listen, like they do tend to annoy me. The bullpen's been a joke. You know what? Yeah, we'll get into it. The bullpen's driving me psychotic. It sucks. I don't know what's going on here. We're not allowing too many runners. I mean, we just swept the Royals, which are a pretty decent team, but we're not allowing a lot of runners, but we're allowing a lot of runs. Like when we get guys on base, they find ways to score.
Right.
Even if it's a home run or something like that, it's the lack of consistency in that regard of holding runners. And with Luke Weaver, missing some time, that's going to matter.
Yeah.
Like, that's got to matter. Boston took 2 of 3 from us at home. Now we're on the road for Boston this weekend. Hopefully, we can kind of get something going here. But, I mean, I don't know. This Boston team has always been a thorn in our side since Alex Cora took over Boston as the manager there. Last night we won 1-0. I said we as if I played 1-0 against the Royals on like the flukiest of fluke plays. I don't know if you saw it, but it was bizarre. Pablo Reyes scored in like the most insane way. He like ran, he tripped, he dove, he like stumbled over himself. It was an infield single that he scored from second on. It was bizarre. Really bizarre play. But there's like a video, there's like a picture of him just laid out like this in front of home plate looking up, completely out of energy. And it's funny, man, but like at the same time too, it's like we shouldn't need all that to win a game. We have a really good roster for a reason.
You guys do got a good roster, you do.
This is so I've been told. And I don't know, man. It's weird stuff. Like I said, it's weird stuff that kind of stands out to you. And yeah, it's odd to say the least. So there's that.
Judge, though, I know we were saying before, you think he's arguably the best player in the 21st century?
If he gets over 400, yeah, with the amount of power he's had, I wouldn't really say it's even debatable. I don't know. Would you?
No, it's not ridiculous. I don't think so at all. He's definitely been insane. Like I said, and I'll say it plenty of times. I know I never saw Jeter play. Like I said, I'm a diehard Mets fan, but I'm also a diehard baseball fan as well. The diehard baseball fan in me would tell you I never got to see Derek Jeter play, but at least I could say to my kids, my grandkids, I saw Aaron Judge play.
Right.
Would you say he's probably a modern day Willie Mays or Babe Ruth?
That's a really good question. I would say none.
He's just himself.
I would say I have a comp in mind, but I have to actually check it. All right, let's do the comparison here. And it's actually another former Yankees corner outfielder in my mind. I did the comparison wrong here. Hold on a second. I think he kind of compares most favorably maybe to Dave Winfield.
Really?
But Dave Winfield stole 223 bases.
Listen,
Dave Winfield is a very underrated historical player. He was really good.
He's not Aaron Judge. Come on.
Dave Winfield is one of the best hitters of the 80s. What are we talking about?
He was a good Yankee. I'm looking at the stats right now.
Yeah, he was good. He couldn't perform well in the postseason either. Look at that.
It was pretty close in comparison.
Yeah. How about that? So, like, I'm making a push in this fantasy league, man. I don't know. I have 4 pitchers going today, and I'm throwing everything in the kitchen sink. Whatever. It's like I don't really know, like, because I don't think we've seen somebody with this kind of power and this. I mean, he's almost batting 400, Brandon. You don't see that. It's like, what am I going to say? Ted Williams? No. Get real. I'm like going off the top of my head here.
I see what you mean. I get it. I understand it.
Actually, Aaron Judge, you might be right. Aaron Judge probably is better than Dave Winfield.
That's what I'm saying. Look,
because I'm looking at even the WAR kind of says they're only 6 WAR off.
Aaron Judge is like, and I'm not trying to discredit Dave Winfield. I'm not trying to discredit any of the great Yankees or great players in the league. But I feel like what Aaron Judge has been doing is something that no other player has been able to do. And just, I don't know, the impact that he has on not just in the Yankees, but on baseball, I think it's definitely outstanding. And just something that that nobody really has ever seen, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, he's literally the best hitter any of us has probably ever seen, ever.
I mean, I agree with you because I missed Barry Bonds. But I think aside from Barry Bonds, I don't even think you could argue that there's a better hitter of the 21st century. Miguel Cabrera, Triple Crown and whatnot. I think Mike Trout's profoundly overrated. I'd say he's one of the most overrated athletes I've ever seen in my lifetime. From like 2007 till now was like when I started watching sports, but even then certain sports are blind spots for me. That being said, like I don't know. Aaron Judge is really good. I just don't know who to compare him to. I think he's kind of like his own thing because of the power and contact.
Would you think?
But I'm sure people would be like, "Oh, Rogers Hornsby," or maybe Al Kaline, or something. Somebody that I just am not familiar with. Like, I know the name, I know the stats, I know they're bucket getters, but I don't really know them comfortably enough to say, like, oh yeah, dude, I see Aaron Judge and I see Hank Greenberg. Like, So now, out of my morbid curiosity, I do kind of want to see how he does stack up to Hank Greenberg. I'll laugh if it's like the same thing.
What about Alex Rodriguez?
Totally different kind of players. Mm-hmm. Aaron Judge actually has a higher career wins above replacement over Hank Greenberg, and he has more All-Stars. Granted, Hank Greenberg fought in World War II. So, lost a couple years there. Lost his prime years.
I'm looking at a random player, Albert Pujols. Looking at his stats, he was definitely a generational type player as well.
When he was younger, he could also steal bases and whatnot. And that's the thing about like Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge can run when he wants to, when he has to. And it's not like and I don't mean as like he kind of like lollygags. No. I mean like the guy's 6'7". You don't want him to full on sprint 60 feet at a time. You don't want that. You know what? Aaron Judge is a better Larry Walker. I think that's where he kind of profiles too.
Okay.
Right-handed, better Larry Walker. I think that's fair.
Little
Off the top of my head, I think that's fair. I'm sure if we have any viewers right now that would love to tell me I'm wrong and full of it, go right ahead. But I think that's his best comparison. Or maybe like top shelf version of Kirk Gibson. You know, like there's because you just don't see guys that size be able to play the way he does. And I think that's why Dave Winfield is the best comparison. Dave Winfield, 6'6", super athletic, drafted to the NBA, ABA, and MLB. I mean, an incredible athlete. Probably the most athletic player in the history of MLB. Or among them. But, you know, it's just little stuff stands out.
It's true. It does. But either way, all right. So, good for the Yankees. I know the Mets been doing good, so that's good for our baseball towns. I'm trying to think what else was there to talk about.
For baseball or for all sports? For all sports, NBA Finals.
Right. The NBA Finals, the Indiana Pacers, man. I don't know why everyone keeps trying to doubt them. Because they just have been just playing electric, good team chemistry, good just execution, and just good coaching on the Pacers side. And I feel like the OKC Thunder can't really keep up with it.
All right. So we started the show off talking about how I don't even know who that guy is, Harry Heilman. Starting the show off talking about how, sometimes we bet, sometimes we don't. We don't really advertise it. When it became clear that the Pacers were going to win the Cavaliers series, I put a little money on them to win the championship. It's not life-changing. It's only $75 to win. But I just totally jinxing them, even bringing it up. That being said, I saw this series. The bench for Indiana is really, really good. They are really, really good. You saw, I don't know if you watched the full game or not. Like, we're going to look at the stat sheet and whatnot. We're going to say Halliburton was fantastic, and he was. The most valuable player in that game was either Ben Mathurin or TJ McConnell. What that bench unit was able to do. Like, this is why when people were talking about, like, oh, I don't think the Knicks need to fire Tibbs or whatever. When you don't play your bench, you don't see if you have guys like this. Like, okay, so what happens when your starting five's not out there? TJ McConnell gets 3 steals, all 3 of them backbreaking, all 3 of them lead to big runs. That means something. All 3 of them stop momentum for the other team. That means something. Ben Mathurin could just score at will. That means something. So Oklahoma City Thunder, like, all right, what does your team do at its best? Their best trait is defense. What's their second best trait? It's not necessarily scoring. It's the depth. They could just, whatever you do, they could find pieces around it. And they met a team that's as deep as they are. Now, I will say, and I'm not trying, I know it's because we have a lot of New Yorkers watching. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Not a good look that Obi Toppin was traded for the Jersey Mike sandwich and has been playing very well this playoffs.
Yeah, he wanted to leave. He didn't think he was getting enough playing time with the Knicks, so the Knicks said, they didn't want to release him. They figured they'd get something for him, and it looks like the Pacers are the ones that are benefiting from the trade.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. And I know it's like he only had 3 games in I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong game here. I know it's not like he had 40 points. He only had 8. He was 4 for 8 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3. But he had 6 rebounds, 2 really important, crucial blocks, and the highest plus minus in the game at plus 18. The Pacers were 18 points better with him on the floor than without him. Miles Turner had 5 blocks. All right, so when Miles Turner's not playing, who's their bigs? Thomas Bryant only played 3 minutes, so not really him. Obi Toppin, when the Thunder go for their small ball lineup, that's who's in the spot of Toppin. For him to be competent around the rim and get points, for him to be competent and be able to get 3 crucial blocks, for him to be able to rim run and get putbacks and things like that, for him to do all that, that means something, especially when you have other guys on the bench that are attacking them, like TJ McConnell and Ben Mathurin, which is like a lethal combo. Because you have 2 guys that could be the starting point guard and the starting shooting guard of just about any other team in the league coming off your bench. Mathurin was 9 for 12 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3, 27 points. He didn't even start the game, and he's not going to at any point in the series, barring any injuries. You still have Aaron Nesmith, who's probably still a little hurt because he did get a pretty bad sprain against the Knicks,
Right.
and is still playing through that. It was lethal against the Knicks. Now anytime they're up, they take him out right away, which is kind of the sign to me that he still might be hurt. You have Andrew Nembhard, who's a lockdown defenseman and doing the best job against SGA than anyone else I've seen in the league. They're really good, man. They're really good. And the Thunder are really good, too. I'm not saying Pacers win, whatever, raise the banner. No. The Pacers could still easily win this. It's a very tight series. But it's just showing that these 2 teams are really evenly matched. And I think people didn't expect the Pacers to rise to the occasion the manner in which they have. And the other thing that's important to keep in mind, we all say, what's the most unlikely NBA Finals runs we've ever seen?
I know we got
mid-90s Rockets, 2011 Mavericks. Who is the head coach of the Mavericks? Rick Carlisle. Who's the head coach of the Pacers?
We had Mike Marandino said facts, Dennis, and that's because of Tibbs.
Yeah. You need to use. All right, let me ask you this. If you're building something or making a meal or something like that, do you want all the ingredients you want to make the best meal you can? Or do you want limited ingredients to make the best meal you can?
All the best ingredients.
Right. If I'm having, a holiday dinner or something like that, and I'm trying to make the best meal and the best experience for you to have, I don't want just, a really good steak like Jalen Brunson. I want to have other good sides. I want to have a good dessert. I want to have good apps. I want to have good drinks. You want the whole experience. And I think the Knicks, they have 2 really good things. Yeah, they got the potatoes, they got the steak. But they don't have a lot of other stuff that's elite. And sometimes you don't need elite in everything. You don't need to be the 2017 Warriors. I always say like the NBA 2K argument. Sometimes if you have enough 83 overalls, that's better than having 299 overalls. So, because the drop-off from when Halliburton is off the court to when he's on the court, when you have McConnell on the bench and you have Mathurin on the bench, Mathurin could do the scoring, McConnell could run the offense, and this is why I was saying last week that the Knicks should consider taking Dennis Schroeder, someone who could legitimately run the offense, because McBride can't. He's a combo guard. He's a scoring guard. That's okay. That's fine. That's a different archetype. That's a different thing altogether. Whatever. God bless. But you need someone to run your offense. You need a TJ McConnell. And I think he's very important to them. And I think Mathurin is too. And that, again, that's nothing to take away. They barely even played Pascal Siakam in the fourth quarter. He still walked away with 21 points, 8 of 14 from the field, 5 for 6 from the free throw line, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Thanks for playing.
Right.
Barely even played the fourth quarter. Finished with 32 minutes in the game. It's important. It's important to have all these different pieces and whatnot. And when I saw them against the Bucks and they beat a beaten down Bucks team. It's like, okay, fine, whatever. A lot of chaos in the Bucks this year. We'll write it off. When I saw them go through the Cavaliers like a hot knife through butter, I was like, oh, this is like the '04 Pistons. This is death by 1,000 cuts. That's brutal. You don't want to play against that. You would rather go up against a team that has one superstar, one Giannis type player, Giannis and Dame Lillard, assuming he was healthy, than go up against a team like Indiana. I could just throw guys at you all day long. And defensively, what they were able to do in this game was incredible. They were not able to let up. I think a lot of times people, and I've been saying this whole time, falsely equate the defense, the lack of defense, like the high-paced Indiana offense with bad defense, because usually that's how it works. And we kind of lie to ourselves with that false preconceived bias. This Pacers team is a very good defensive team and an excellent offensive team with the way they play, the pace they lure you into. But they play like a whirlpool, is what I call it, like a whirlpool style. They lure you in to playing their pace that they're way more comfortable in than you are, and then they spring the trap. Kind of, I guess it's the closest thing that we will see. It's almost like it's similar to like the New Jersey Devils trap for you hockey fans from the 90s and 2000s. But if it was offensive focused, it's like an inverse. Kind of wild.
It's pretty wild.
Fun to watch. Great television. I know, I'm sure a lot of casual fans could care less, but for me, fascinating.
Yeah, I'd be fascinated too.
So, are you still riding with the Thunder? You still riding the Lightning, or no?
I have to say, I'm not really too sure. I'm probably going to switch over to the Pacers. I'm not gonna lie. I don't, I'm not trying to discredit. I'm not trying to discredit the Thunder in any shape or way. They got the MVP, SGA. They got a great team. Overall, but I like the way the Pacers. I think the Pacers are unstoppable right now. I don't know how you go against them. They're good coaching, great all-around team, great chemistry, and great. I feel like they got the momentum right now. So no, I'm gonna go over to. I think the Pacers might take the rest away. It might go to 7, but I think it will go to 6.
I'm going Indiana. Obviously, I started this segment off by talking about how I thought they were going to win the championship after the Cavalier series. I actually didn't. I thought it was going to be the Thunder. I was hoping that the Pacers would steer clear of them. I thought that if they go up against the Nuggets, they'd have a chance. If they went up against the Timberwolves, that didn't work out so well. The Thunder beat both of them. So I can't really take too much credit if it does happen. And if it doesn't, whatever. $10. What do I care?
Right.
So, did you watch the Stanley Cup Finals last night or no? And SGA, he was okay in this game, not great, but
I did. I watched the third period, and I watched them tie up the game. I watched Florida. I watched Edmonton take the lead, and then Florida came back and they tied it with under the minute left in the period. And I didn't get to see the overtime goal, but I remember watching the post game here and wait. Because I think the backup goalie came in for Edmonton. So that was a big call for him because I think it was Lundqvist that came up and on the post game he was interviewing the player, the backup goalie. So it was definitely cool to see. And that's what I gotta say on that.
Series is tied at 2 games apiece. 3 games have gone to overtime. Oilers won last night 5-4 in overtime. After coming back down 3-0 at the end of the first period, this is the only time in NBA Stanley Cup final history that a team was up 3-0 at the end of the first period and lost. Important to think about. With less than 20 seconds to go in the third period, obviously we know game gets tied up. Captain Picard, 7-0 in the postseason this year. Stuart Skinner, for a long time, people have been saying he can't win the big games, their usual goaltender. And here we have it. His backup comes in and has an incredible performance. And, of course, who but Draisaitl would get the goal in overtime. But, I mean, just this is going to get lost to the annals of history, sadly. Sam Reinhart, with 20 seconds left in the game, empty net situation for the Panthers, and they make the most of it. So, dude, it's a series. 2-2.
Yeah.
2-2. Down dead to rights, and now it's going back to Edmonton. But my Devils aren't in. I always root for good TV, man. That's what I say. When my Yankees aren't in, I root for TV. When my Suns aren't in, when my Giants aren't in, I root for good TV.
It's definitely
this is good TV.
It's been great TV. I think both playoffs, the NBA and the NHL, I feel like they've both been just great TV. And that's what everybody's saying on the post game too. When I know Charles Barkley said it, and they were saying it last night on the NHL post game for the Stanley Cup Finals. It's been fun. It's been definitely must see TV, especially for the finals in the NHL this year. I think it's the second straight game that went to, or it might be the second game in the playoffs in the Stanley Cup Finals that it went to overtime. So it's been fun, especially when they score late at the end of the period when you only got so much time left to score. So, I agree. It's been must watch TV.
Yeah. Who do you got in this one? I'm going Oilers. They lost last year. I like the underdogs, says the Yankees fan.
I want to go with the Panthers because they are a really good team. But so is Edmonton. And as long as they got McDavid, you said Drysdale. I don't think there's any reason to go against Edmonton. I think this might be the year they might win it. And I think it's pretty cool to see Wayne Gretzky there to kind of like cover it too, because he made a name for himself playing with the Oilers, like when he first came out in the league.
He's probably the only player I can think of. Oh no, Tom Brady's on Fox now.
What's that?
I was going to say he's probably the only player I could think of that like the undisputed best player of his sport, and he's active in media as much as he is.
Michael Jordan is going to come back. I don't know if you saw that. He's actually going to be contributing on NBC. When I think it's crazy though that NBC is going to be covering basketball now. It's weird to me.
I'm happy for it.
Really?
I would take a job from any sports media company, but some I don't like their production. Don't ask me for specifics. Please give me a job.
What's that?
What? So now I'm just excited to see that. That sounds really fun. That sounds cool. I guess to Tom Brady, you could also argue Lawrence Taylor, but whatever. I'm wearing a Giants hat, so maybe a little biased. Anyway, do you have anything else, or do you think that we should hand out the receipts and close out the tabs at the SportsShack for this week?
No, I think that's it. I think we should close out the tabs. Hope we get good tips.
There was a little trade in MLB earlier this afternoon. For those of you who missed it, it's not crucial. It doesn't affect the New York teams. But Aaron Savali, you are a Chicago White Sox. Ooh.
Really?
The Holy White Sox. Maybe that's good for him. I'm considering buying myself a Pope White Sox shirt. I do find it pretty funny.
It's interesting.
Yeah, Savali traded to the White Sox. Brewers obtain Andrew Vaughn. Brew Crew. They made out pretty well, I would argue. $807,000 for that? Why not? And with that, I have nothing else further.
I don't think I got anything else.
Okay, Brandon. Lead us out.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in to Sports Shack. Thank you to the viewers who watched the show and to the many viewers that are going to watch this episode when it gets posted on YouTube. Hope everybody has a great sports weekend and just a great Father's Day weekend in general. I'm spending it with my father.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to Artie Tui, and obviously Happy Father's Day to my
Happy
father as
Father's
well.
Day to Mr. Natali. I made my dad's Father's Day card yesterday.
Did you really?
The break room at work. Yeah. And I texted him that I have his Father's Day card. He doesn't know. It's hand-drawn by me, of course.
Oh, yeah?
The toddler I am. They had little printouts, little stencils in my break room at work. Working in retail, this is what you do. And crayons that you can make a Father's Day card. So I made it. And he's all his favorite colors. Hopefully he likes it. Now, I also did text him that I made it, that I have his card ready. And I wanted to remind him that my siblings are definitely going to get it the day of. So just keep in mind which of your kids likes you more. Continue.
All right, there you go. Happy Father's Day to everybody, and thank you for listening to Sports Shack. My name is Brian Natali, along with Dennis Tui. Have a great one, everybody.
Happy Father's Day.